Ryan worked alone in the dusty hangar of the small mining station on the edge of the Kepler belt. The station was old, and most of the ships that came through were battered and worn. Ryan loved his work. He enjoyed fixing machines that others had given up on. His hands were always greasy, and his clothes carried the smell of fuel and metal, but he felt proud of what he could do. No one cared about the small station, but for Ryan, it was home. One quiet evening, while the twin suns of the nearby system began to set, Ryan noticed something strange on the scanner. A small blip moved unusually fast, almost like it was falling from space. The blip was not sending any standard signals. Curiosity pulled him toward the observation deck. Moments later, a small ship appeared through the station's viewing window. It was sleek and shiny, with designs that no human manufacturer had ever made. Before Ryan could react, the ship shook violently, sparks flying from its engines. Alarms blared. Without thinking, Ryan ran to the launch bay. The ship crashed just outside the station, sending a cloud of dust and smoke into the thin atmosphere. Ryan grabbed a toolkit and ran toward the wreckage. He had no idea who or what was inside, but he could not leave anyone in danger. When he reached the ship, the door was bent and warped. Inside, he found a figure slumped against the control panel. At first, he thought it was a man, but the being was taller than any human and had skin that glimmered faintly under the dim light. Her eyes were bright blue, glowing softly even in the shadows. She was breathing, but shallowly. Ryan's first thought was to get her inside the station where she would be safe. He lifted her carefully, noticing her weight was lighter than it should have been. Her movements were delicate, and there was a strange elegance to the way she held herself, even injured. He carried her to the station's medbay. She barely moved, letting him guide her onto a bed. Ryan examined her carefully. There were no visible wounds, but her body seemed weakened from some internal damage. He started working, using the station's medical scanner and his own knowledge of basic alien physiology. The being stirred slightly and opened her glowing eyes. "Who are you?" Ryan asked softly, afraid to startle her. "I am Sela," she said, her voice musical and calm. "I need help." Ryan nodded. "You are safe now. I will help you." He worked through the night, adjusting the medbay's equipment, monitoring her vital signs, and repairing the minor injuries he could see. He asked simple questions, but she only answered some of them. Her voice was gentle, her tone careful, as if hiding something important. As the hours passed, Ryan grew curious. Her technology was unlike anything he had seen. Her small device that controlled the ship's systems glowed with shifting colors, responding to her touch without buttons or screens. Ryan reached out, almost afraid to touch it. "Can I see it?" he asked. Sela tilted her head, studying him for a moment. Then she nodded slightly. "You may. But be careful. It is delicate." Ryan handled the device carefully. He was amazed at how it seemed to respond to thought and intention. He could make it move just by thinking about the motion, and it would react perfectly. Ryan realized that this was not ordinary technology. It was far beyond anything humans had ever built. He felt a mix of excitement and fear. Despite the wonder, Ryan did not think about her real identity. He did not see the faint symbols on her armor or the patterns that seemed to pulse like living energy. All he saw was a person in need. Sela watched him work, silent except for soft murmurs when he asked about her ship. She seemed curious about his tools and methods, studying him as he adjusted the device. Even though she was clearly from another world, she did not seem judgmental or impatient. Hours passed, and Sela's strength slowly returned. She could sit up, though she still looked weak. She moved with grace, each motion careful and deliberate. Ryan noticed that she studied the stars outside the window with intensity, as if trying to memorize every detail. "You are from far away," Ryan said cautiously. Yes, she replied. Far from here. But I am not safe. Ryan frowned. Not safe? Who would hurt you? Sela shook her head. There are forces, in the galaxy, who seek control. I must avoid them. Her voice was quiet, almost a whisper, but there was strength behind it. Ryan nodded. He did not fully understand, but he knew one thing. He would not let anyone harm her while she was under his care. He continued working on her ship, making repairs and ensuring it could fly again. He worked through the next day and night, barely stopping to eat or rest. During this time, a friendship began to form. Sela would ask questions about life on the station, about humans, and Ryan would answer. He told her about the small joys of his life repairing ships, the quiet beauty of the twin suns, the simple pride of work done well. Sela listened intently, her glowing eyes reflecting curiosity and interest. Ryan began to feel a strange sense of comfort in her presence. Though she was clearly not human, there was something in her calm strength that made him feel less alone. He thought of her as a guest, someone who needed his help, and he wanted to ensure she was safe at all costs. By the end of the second night, Sela was strong enough to stand. She looked around the station carefully, noting details of construction and design. She asked about Ryan's work, about the tools he used, and about the mining station itself. Ryan answered honestly, proud of his home and his skill. You have skill, she said finally. It is rare. You help without thinking of reward. Ryan felt a flush of pride. He had always believed in helping others when needed. But he did not realize how important this simple act would become. He did not know that the being he had rescued was more than just an injured traveler. She was someone who could shape the fate of entire worlds. For now, though, Ryan only saw her as someone in need. He did not know that helping her would change his life forever. And he did not know that the galaxy, vast and dangerous, was already watching him through the eyes of the mysterious queen he had saved. As the twin suns rose again, Ryan looked at Sela and smiled. We will get your ship ready. You will fly again. Sela nodded, a faint smile on her glowing face. Yes. I trust you, Ryan. For the first time in a long while, Ryan felt a sense of purpose beyond his small station. He had no idea how far this trust would take him, or how much the universe would soon depend on the choices of one small human who simply wanted to help. Ryan spent the next morning in the hangar, working on Sela's ship. The vessel was unlike any human craft. Its smooth curves shimmered with colors that shifted like liquid metal. Panels lit up with soft blue light when he touched them, responding to his hands as if the ship could sense him. Ryan had repaired many ships before, but this one was different. Every movement mattered, every adjustment precise. He felt both nervous and excited. Sela observed silently, standing near the control panel. She no longer seemed weak, though she moved carefully, taking in every detail of the hangar. Ryan noticed the way she studied the ship, not just as a machine, but as something alive. Her glowing eyes followed his hands as he worked, and he felt a strange sense of being watched in a friendly way. You understand machines well, Sela said finally. Her voice was soft but certain. Few humans can repair devices like this. Ryan smiled, wiping grease from his hands. I have been fixing machines all my life. I like making things work again. It feels good to see something broken become useful. Sela tilted her head, her hair glimmering in the morning sun that filtered through the hangar windows. You care for life, even when it is not required. Ryan shrugged. I guess I just do what feels right. You were hurt. I could not just leave you there. Her eyes softened. Few humans act with courage and kindness without expecting reward. This is rare. Ryan felt a warmth inside him. No one had ever spoken to him like that before. She made him feel proud, not just of his work, but of who he was. He focused on the ship, adjusting circuits, repairing the engine's core, and checking the navigation system. Sela occasionally pointed out small things he had missed, but she never touched anything directly. Her hands moved with careful gestures, almost like she was guiding him rather than taking control. After a few hours, the main engine hummed softly, and the lights on the console indicated that the ship was functional. Ryan stepped back, exhausted but satisfied. He looked at Sela, expecting her to leave or thank him formally. Instead, she studied him with a curiosity that made his heart beat faster. "You have a simple life," she said quietly. "Yet you accomplish much. You have wisdom in small things." Ryan laughed nervously. "I am not sure it is wisdom. I just fix things. That is all." Sela smiled faintly. "It is more than that. You understand value, even when it is hidden." The conversation left Ryan thinking. He had always believed that humans were small, insignificant in a galaxy filled with advanced civilizations. Yet Sela, a being far more powerful than anyone he had imagined, was noticing him, noticing his choices, his care, and his courage. Ryan decided to take a break and offer her something to eat. He brought some simple rations from the station's kitchen. Sela took them politely, examining each item with interest. "This is simple," she said, "but it nourishes well." Ryan smiled. "Sometimes simple things are best. You do not need fancy meals to survive." She nodded slowly, as if considering his words carefully. Then she asked, "Do humans always live this way? Small, isolated, yet surviving?" Ryan thought about the lonely station, the harsh environment of the belt, and the few travelers he saw each month. "Some live like this," he said. "It is not always easy. But we make do. We survive and help each other when we can." Sela's eyes brightened. Survival, and compassion. Humans are unusual. The day passed quietly. Ryan worked on the ship while Sela continued to observe. Every now and then, she would ask about his tools, his methods, and the life of humans on the station. He answered each question patiently. The more they talked, the more Ryan felt a bond growing between them. He did not know it yet, but Sela was testing him, learning what humans were capable of, and seeing how their hearts could shape the galaxy. In the evening, Ryan decided it was time to test the ship. He helped Sela climb into the cockpit. She moved with elegance, her hands almost floating over the controls. The ship responded immediately, as if it recognized her presence. Ryan's heart raced. He had never seen technology react like this. "Are you ready?" he asked, nervous. Sela nodded. "I am ready. But I will rely on you." Ryan felt a mix of pride and fear. He had helped her, and now he would guide her ship, trusting in her strength. They lifted off the station slowly. The ship glided through the thin atmosphere, leaving trails of light that shimmered as the sun set. As they moved away from the station, Sela remained calm, her eyes scanning the stars. "The galaxy is vast," she said softly. "So much life, so many paths. Many do not survive its dangers." Ryan felt a chill. He had seen the dangers of space, the storms, the rogue asteroids, and the occasional pirate. Yet hearing it from her made it feel larger, more real. "We will survive," he said. "I will help you." Sela's gaze met his. "I believe you will. Humans are stronger than they seem." They continued flying quietly. Ryan noticed faint signals from distant planets, small pulses of light that seemed to recognize Sela's presence. He asked about them, but she only smiled faintly. "There are forces in the galaxy who know me. I am not alone. But you are safe for now." Ryan felt a mixture of awe and unease. He did not fully understand who Sela was, but he could feel her importance. At the same time, he felt a sense of pride. He had helped her, and she trusted him. That simple act of kindness, he realized, had created a connection stronger than he had ever known. As night fell across the belt, Ryan guided the ship toward a quiet asteroid field for tests. They moved slowly, carefully weaving between the rocks. Sela occasionally gave instructions, showing him subtle adjustments. Her guidance was precise, almost like a dance. Ryan realized that even without fully understanding her power, he could learn from her. By the end of the first test flight, Sela's ship was performing perfectly. She smiled, her glowing eyes bright with satisfaction. "You have skill," she said again. "But more than that, you have heart. That is rare in the galaxy." Ryan felt warmth spread through him. No one had ever said such words to him. Helping her had become more than a duty. It was a moment that would change him forever. As they landed back on the station, Ryan realized that his life, small and quiet before, had already begun to expand. He had no idea how far this journey would take him, or how much the galaxy would soon rely on the choices of a human who simply wanted to help. Sela stepped out of the ship, looking at him with trust and curiosity. "Rest now," she said. "Tomorrow, there will be more work. But I will remain with you." Ryan nodded, tired but excited. "We will get everything ready. We will make it work together." For the first time, he felt that helping someone, even from a distant world, could have consequences far beyond his small station. And he knew, deep in his heart, that this was only the beginning of a journey that could change the galaxy. The next morning, Ryan woke to find Sela already at the hangar, studying the ship. She moved gracefully, her glowing eyes scanning every panel and device. Even though she had regained her strength, she seemed restless, as if waiting for something beyond the station's quiet. "I want to see more of your world," she said, her voice calm but firm. "I want to understand humans better. Will you show me?" Ryan hesitated. The station was far from civilization. Travel outside the belt was dangerous, and few humans ventured beyond their own colonies. But he felt a spark of excitement. "I can take you to a nearby colony," he said. "It is small, but people there will be curious to meet you." Sela nodded, and together they prepared the ship for a short journey. Ryan made adjustments to the engines and navigation systems, ensuring they could make the trip safely. Sela watched him work, occasionally pointing out small improvements, but mostly letting him lead. Ryan felt proud of his skill and the trust she placed in him. They lifted off the station, gliding smoothly into space. The twin suns of the Kepler belt reflected off the ship's surface, creating colors that shifted like liquid metal. As they moved, Sela looked out at the stars. Her gaze was intense, as if she could see far beyond the light of distant suns. "Your people are brave," she said quietly. "Living here, on the edge of the belt, it requires courage and strength." Ryan smiled, adjusting the controls. "We do what we must to survive. Space is dangerous, but it teaches you to be careful and smart. Sometimes that is more important than power." Sela nodded thoughtfully. "Power, many beings seek it. Many use it without thought. Humans, you are different." Ryan shrugged. "I guess we try to help each other when we can. That counts for something, right?" Sela's glowing eyes softened. "More than you realize." As they approached the colony, Ryan noticed unusual signals on the ship's sensors. A group of ships appeared on the scanner, moving toward the colony at high speed. They were armed and aggressive. Pirates, Ryan realized immediately. They sought to raid the small settlement and take whatever they could. Sela's eyes narrowed. "They are dangerous. We must protect them." Ryan felt a surge of fear but pushed it aside. He had faced small dangers before, but this was different. These pirates were fast and well armed, and the colony's people were unprepared. "We can stop them," he said firmly. "But I will need your help." Sela stepped forward, her presence commanding even without words. "I will act with you. Trust your skill." Ryan nodded. Together, they approached the colony, preparing for what could be a deadly encounter. The pirates descended from the shadows of the nearby asteroid belt, their weapons ready. Ryan acted quickly. He calculated their approach and activated the ship's defensive systems. Sela guided him with precise instructions, adjusting shields and energy pulses. The pirates fired, but Ryan had anticipated their moves. Using quick maneuvers and clever use of the colony's structures, he redirected their attacks, minimizing damage. Sela moved with him, using subtle energy bursts that disabled the pirates' engines without harming them. Ryan watched in awe. Her power was extraordinary, but she used it carefully, never causing unnecessary harm. Together, they outsmarted the pirates, forcing them to retreat. The colony was safe, and the settlers cheered, amazed by the small human and the mysterious alien who had saved them. Ryan felt proud but exhausted. He realized that courage was more than bravery in battle. It was intelligence, quick thinking, and care for others. After the pirates left, Sela turned to him. "You are clever and brave," she said. "You think beyond immediate danger. That is rare. Many beings would have panicked or fought without strategy." Ryan felt warmth in her words. He had always believed humans were insignificant in the galaxy, but her recognition made him feel powerful in a different way. Not with weapons or numbers, but with courage and intelligence. The colony's people were curious about Sela, asking questions and admiring her strange appearance and glowing eyes. She answered politely, careful not to reveal too much about herself. Ryan noticed that she seemed genuinely interested in their lives, listening to their stories, and learning about human culture. "You learn quickly," Ryan said, noticing how she absorbed the details of the colony. "Do you travel often?" Sela shook her head. "I have been far, but I observe quietly. Not all beings are ready to see me as I am." Ryan nodded, understanding her caution. Some people are afraid of what they do not know. But helping them, showing care, that changes things. Sela smiled faintly. "You understand more than most." As the sun set on the colony, Ryan and Sela prepared to leave. The settlement was safe, and the settlers were grateful. Ryan felt a sense of satisfaction he had never known. He had acted not for reward or recognition but because it was the right thing to do. And in that moment, he realized that helping others, even in small ways, could have great consequences. Sela stepped beside him on the ship's ramp. "You have courage," she said quietly. "And a heart that values life. This is unusual in the galaxy. Most beings seek power first. You act with care." Ryan felt a mix of pride and humility. "I just do what I can," he said. "It feels right." Sela's glowing eyes met his. "That is why you are important. Not because of strength, but because of choices. Choices shape the galaxy more than weapons or armies." Ryan stared at her, realizing he had only just begun to understand the world beyond his station. The galaxy was vast and full of dangers, but it was also full of possibilities. His small acts of courage and care had already made a difference. As they lifted off from the colony, the stars stretched out before them, infinite and full of mysteries. Ryan felt excitement and fear together, knowing that Sela's presence had changed his life. He had helped someone in need, and in return, he had gained a friend, a teacher, and a connection to a galaxy far larger than he had ever imagined. Sela guided the ship skillfully, her movements precise and elegant. Ryan followed her instructions, learning and adapting. He felt a sense of pride and trust in himself. Even in the face of danger, he could act wisely and bravely. By the time they returned to the station, night had fallen across the Kepler belt. The twin suns had disappeared behind the horizon, leaving a sky full of stars. Ryan looked at Sela and felt a quiet sense of accomplishment. He had faced danger, protected others, and learned to trust in his own abilities. "You did well today," Sela said softly, her glowing eyes reflecting the starlight. "You are brave, clever, and kind. These qualities, they are rare. I have observed many beings, but few have hearts like yours." Ryan smiled, feeling the truth in her words. "I just do what I can," he said. "That is all any of us can do." Sela nodded, her expression thoughtful. "What you do matters more than you realize. Your actions, they have power beyond this station, beyond this colony. One day, you will see how much difference a single human can make." Ryan did not fully understand, but he felt a sense of pride and purpose. Helping Sela had changed him. He knew that the galaxy, vast and dangerous, was beginning to notice humans in a way he had never imagined. And he knew that the choices he made, small and careful, could shape more than just his own life. As they walked back to the station, Ryan felt that his quiet, simple world had begun to expand. The galaxy was no longer distant. It was alive, full of challenges, discoveries, and possibilities. And he had already taken his first steps into something much larger than himself, guided by courage, care, and the mysterious alien who had become his friend. After the events at the colony, Ryan felt a new sense of purpose. The quiet life of repairing ships and running a small station no longer seemed enough. He spent the morning checking Sela's ship once again, making sure every system was ready for travel. Sela watched him work, her glowing eyes calm but focused. "You take great care," she said softly. "Few would treat a machine with such attention. Many are careless, even with tools they understand." Ryan smiled. "If a machine fails, it can cost lives. I learned long ago that details matter. Every adjustment can make a difference." Sela nodded. "This is wisdom. It is rare to see a being think beyond immediate needs. Humans, you are surprising." Ryan felt proud. Her words carried weight. Sela had traveled far, faced dangers he could not imagine, yet she still noticed and valued his work. He returned to the cockpit to check the navigation systems, while Sela remained near the control panels, observing quietly. After several hours, she finally spoke again. "I wish to travel with you, Ryan. I wish to see more of human life, not just this station. I want to understand how your people survive, how you think, how you live." Ryan hesitated. Taking her to other colonies was risky. Space was dangerous, and pirates or hostile beings could attack. But he also knew that Sela was powerful, and she could protect them if danger appeared. "I can take you to another colony," he said cautiously. "It is small, but you can see life beyond this station." Sela's eyes brightened. "I will follow your guidance. I trust your knowledge of this region." Ryan prepared the ship for travel. He checked engines, shields, and communication devices. Sela assisted where she could, offering suggestions but allowing him to lead. When everything was ready, they lifted off, gliding smoothly into the star-studded sky. As they traveled, Sela asked questions about human life. "Do humans often live alone, as you do?" she asked. Ryan nodded. "Some do. Others live in communities or colonies. Space is vast, so isolation is common. People adapt to survive." Sela looked thoughtful. "Isolation, it teaches patience, careful thinking, and strength. Humans are stronger than I imagined." Ryan smiled. "We survive by thinking ahead. Danger is always near in space, so we must be smart and careful." Their journey was quiet until faint signals appeared on the ship's sensors. Ryan frowned. "Something is approaching. Unknown ships, fast and armed." Sela's eyes narrowed. "They are hostile." They seek control or profit. We must be careful. Ryan felt fear, but he remembered the colony encounter. He had faced danger before, and he had survived. We can outsmart them, he said. Follow my instructions. The ships approached, sleek and aggressive. Ryan quickly calculated their paths and prepared the ship's defensive systems. Sela guided him with subtle energy adjustments, helping him maneuver the ship through asteroids and debris. Together, they avoided attacks and outwitted the hostile fleet. You think quickly, Sela said as they moved. Most beings would panic. You do not. That is rare. Ryan felt proud. Her approval mattered more than he expected. He had never been recognized for his courage or intelligence on this scale. I just try to act when it matters, he said. After the danger passed, Sela spoke again. You have courage, Ryan. But more than that, you have understanding. You consider life, not just survival. That is what makes humans remarkable. Ryan shook his head. I never thought humans mattered that much. We are small, just people trying to survive. Sela's eyes glowed softly. You are small, yet your actions have great consequences. Choices like yours shape the galaxy. You help because it is right, not for reward. That is true power. Ryan felt a strange mix of pride and humility. He had always believed that humans were insignificant in the vast galaxy. Now he realized that even small beings could have a large impact if they acted with courage and care. As they approached the next colony, Ryan noticed its layout from the sensors. It was peaceful, isolated, and unprepared for any sudden attack. Sela studied it as well, her eyes scanning for patterns, threats, and opportunities to help. This colony is small, but it matters, she said. Even small communities are important. Their survival shapes the lives of many. Ryan nodded. We can learn from them, and we can protect them if needed. They arrived at the colony quietly, moving through the atmosphere without attracting attention. Ryan guided the ship to a landing platform near the settlement. As the people noticed them, curiosity filled the air. They had never seen an alien like Sela, and they watched her with awe and cautious wonder. Sela stepped forward, speaking softly. I come in peace. I wish to understand human life. I seek no harm. The settlers were cautious but friendly. They asked questions about her technology, and about Ryan. Sela answered politely, careful not to reveal her true identity. She listened to their stories of survival, work, and community. Ryan noticed how genuinely she absorbed every detail, asking thoughtful questions about human life and challenges. You are patient and careful, Ryan said quietly. Most would not take the time to listen like that. Sela looked at him, her glowing eyes reflecting warmth. Humans have value. Their lives, their choices, their courage, all matter. I want to understand it fully. The day passed with conversations, demonstrations of technology, and quiet observations. Sela showed respect to the settlers, and Ryan felt proud to see her kindness in action. He realized that her power was not only in her technology or strength but also in her careful choices and awareness. As the twin sun set over the colony, Ryan and Sela prepared to leave. The settlers waved, their curiosity satisfied, and their trust earned. Ryan felt a sense of accomplishment. He had helped another community, and this time he had a companion with skills and insight far beyond his own. Sela looked at him with admiration. You teach me, Ryan. You show me how humans live, how they survive, how they care. This is valuable. Few beings would help others without thought for themselves. Ryan smiled. It is simple. If you can help someone, you should. That is how life works. Sela nodded thoughtfully. Your simplicity, your honesty, it carries power. I have seen much in the galaxy, but humans, they are remarkable when they act with heart. Ryan realized that his life, once small and predictable, had begun to expand. Traveling with Sela, facing danger, and learning about the galaxy was changing him. He felt stronger, braver, and more aware of the value of his choices. As they lifted off from the colony and returned to the station, Ryan looked at Sela. "I never imagined that helping someone could lead to this. I never thought humans could matter so much." Sela smiled faintly. "You are learning. Humans matter because of choices, courage, and care. You have proven that even small beings can shape larger worlds." Ryan felt warmth spread through him. He understood that helping others, acting with courage, and thinking beyond himself were more important than he had realized. The galaxy was vast, and he was only at the beginning of a journey that could change everything. As they returned to the station, night had fallen over the Kepler belt. The twin suns had disappeared behind the horizon, leaving a sky filled with stars. Ryan felt awe and excitement. He had helped save a colony, learned from an extraordinary being, and discovered the value of human courage. Sela placed a hand lightly on his shoulder. "Rest now, Ryan. Tomorrow, we will continue. There is much to learn, much to see, and much to do. Your choices, they matter." Ryan nodded. He felt tired but eager. For the first time, he realized that helping others could lead to something greater than himself. The galaxy was vast and full of mysteries, but he had courage, care, and a new companion who would guide him toward a future he had never imagined. The morning sun of the Kepler belt barely warmed the station, but Ryan was already awake. Today, he knew, would not be like any other day. He had spent weeks helping Sela recover and repair her ship, and now the quiet routines of the station felt small compared to what was waiting beyond the stars. Sela stood near the hangar, watching him work. She no longer seemed fragile, but her presence was calm and commanding. Her glowing blue eyes studied every movement of his hands as he adjusted circuits and tested energy flows. She did not speak, yet her silence carried weight. "Are you ready to test the ship fully?" Ryan asked. Sela nodded. "Yes, Ryan. But I sense something. A disturbance in space. We must be alert." Ryan glanced at the scanners. Small signals flickered at the edges of detection. Nothing concrete yet, but the patterns were unusual. "I will watch. If anything approaches, we can react." They climbed into the cockpit. Ryan guided the ship out of the hangar carefully, navigating the narrow paths between asteroids. The ship responded perfectly, every system functioning as he had repaired. Sela observed silently, her hands hovering over controls but not touching them. As they entered open space, the signals grew stronger. Ryan's heart raced. On the scanners, a fleet of sleek, dark ships appeared. They moved with precision, fast and dangerous. Ryan recognized their formation immediately. Pirates. Not ordinary raiders, but a coordinated group seeking powerful prey. Sela's eyes narrowed. "They seek me," she said calmly. "But they do not know my strength. We can survive, Ryan, if we act carefully." Ryan swallowed his fear. He had faced danger before, but nothing on this scale. The fleet was larger, faster, and heavily armed. "We can escape," he said. "Or we can fight if necessary." Sela placed a hand lightly on his shoulder. "We will act together. Trust your skill. Trust your heart." Ryan nodded. The first attack came quickly. Energy blasts streaked past their ship, but Ryan had already calculated evasive maneuvers. Using the asteroid field for cover, he guided the ship through narrow gaps, dodging the assaults. Sela gave subtle directions, adjusting shields and deflectors with precise energy pulses. The pirates were aggressive, but Ryan's quick thinking and Sela's power allowed them to outmaneuver the attackers. Every movement mattered. Ryan guided the ship, anticipating the pirates' next strike, while Sela's calm energy countered threats before they could reach them. "You act with clarity," Sela said quietly as they dodged another wave of attacks. "Most beings would panic. You do not. This is rare." Ryan felt a surge of pride. Her praise meant more than any reward he had ever received. He realized that courage was not only about bravery but also about intelligence, careful calculation, and a willingness to act when others would hesitate. The pirates regrouped, circling the ship and preparing another assault. Ryan's mind worked quickly. He noticed patterns in their movement, weaknesses in their formation. "We can trick them," he said. "Follow my lead." Sela nodded. "I trust you." Ryan adjusted the ship's engines, creating a sudden burst that made them appear to veer in one direction. The pirates followed, thinking they had the advantage. But Ryan had planned a narrow passage through a dense asteroid cluster. With Sela's help, they slipped through, losing the attackers in the rocks and shadows. Once safe, Ryan exhaled deeply. He had never felt relief like this. "We did it," he said. Sela smiled faintly. "We did it together. Your courage, your mind, it saved us." Ryan felt humbled. He had acted without hesitation, relying on his skills and instincts. Yet he realized that Sela's guidance had been as important as his own. Her quiet strength had shaped his decisions, and her trust in him had given him confidence he did not know he possessed. The fleet did not pursue further. Ryan guided the ship to a quiet orbit near a small, uninhabited planet. They landed safely, and he powered down the engines. Silence surrounded them, broken only by the hum of the ship's systems. "You have proven something important," Sela said, her glowing eyes studying him. "Humans are clever, brave, and willing to act for the good of others. This is rare in the galaxy. Many would act for power or reward. You act for what is right." Ryan shook his head. "I never thought about that. I just do what needs to be done." Sela's smile widened slightly. "That is why your actions have power. You do not know it yet, but small beings who act with heart can shape large events. Courage and care can influence much more than force alone." Ryan felt a strange sense of pride. He had never imagined that helping someone could matter on such a scale. And yet, in this moment, he understood that even a human from a small station could make a difference. They spent the rest of the day repairing minor damages from the attack. Ryan adjusted circuits and shields, while Sela watched and offered insights. She did not take control, but her observations were precise, showing him new ways to improve the ship's performance. "You are quick to learn," she said. "Many beings would struggle to adapt so fast. You understand what is needed and act wisely." Ryan smiled. "I learned from you. I watched how you handle danger. I try to do what you do, but in my own way." Sela's gaze softened. "That is the way of humans. You observe, adapt, and act with heart. This is remarkable. You have courage, but more than that, you have understanding. That is rare in the galaxy." As the twin suns set behind the asteroid belts, Ryan and Sela prepared to return to the station. The journey back was quiet, filled with reflection. Ryan realized that bravery was not about fighting alone. It was about helping others, making smart choices, and acting when it mattered most. Sela watched him carefully. "Ryan, you are learning quickly. The galaxy is full of dangers, but it is also full of opportunities. Your choices, small as they seem, can have consequences beyond your imagination. Trust your heart, and you will see how far humans can reach." Ryan felt a quiet determination. He understood that helping Sela had changed him. He was no longer just an engineer on a small station. He was someone capable of facing danger, protecting others, and making choices that mattered in ways he could not yet see. As the station came into view, Ryan guided the ship down carefully. Landing was smooth, and the quiet hangar welcomed them back. Sela stepped out, her glowing eyes reflecting both relief and admiration. "You have done well, Ryan," she said softly. "You acted with courage, wisdom, and care. These qualities, they are rare. You have proven that even a single human can make a difference." Ryan felt warmth in her words. He realized that helping others, acting wisely, and facing danger with intelligence and heart were his greatest strengths. The galaxy was vast, and challenges would continue, but he knew he was ready to face them. Sela placed a hand lightly on his shoulder. "Rest now. Tomorrow brings new paths, new discoveries, and new choices. Your heart, your courage, and your understanding, they will guide you." Ryan nodded, feeling both exhausted and excited. He had survived danger, learned from a being far more powerful than he could imagine, and discovered the value of human determination. The galaxy was wide, full of mysteries, and waiting. The morning air was sharp with the cold of space, but Ryan felt awake and focused. He had grown accustomed to traveling with Sela, but each day brought new surprises. Today, she seemed more serious than usual, her glowing eyes reflecting thought and concern. "We should prepare for a longer journey," Sela said quietly. "There are regions of the galaxy where danger and discovery are both present. You will need to be alert, Ryan." Ryan nodded, checking the ship's systems once again. He had learned from their earlier encounters that preparation was everything. The ship hummed smoothly, every panel responsive, every engine stable. Sela observed silently, offering only small suggestions. Her guidance had become part of his thought process, and he felt stronger and more confident with her near. "Where are we going?" he asked. Sela's eyes seemed to glance beyond the stars. "There is a sector where beings seek control. I must pass through it. It is important. We will need skill and caution." Ryan understood immediately. She spoke in quiet, careful words, but the meaning was clear. The journey would be dangerous. He checked the ship again, scanning the surrounding space for threats. Nothing appeared yet, but he knew Sela's instincts were more sensitive than any instrument. As they left the station's orbit, traveling into the darker parts of the belt, the sensors picked up unusual energy signatures. Small pulses of light flickered across the readings. "Unknown signals," Ryan said. "They could be patrols, or something else." Sela's gaze sharpened. "We must be cautious. Not all beings are friendly. Some will see you and me as threats." Ryan felt a surge of both excitement and fear. Each trip with Sela brought new challenges, and now they were entering regions far beyond what he had known. "We can face it," he said, gripping the controls. Together. The first obstacle appeared sooner than he expected. A fleet of fast ships moved through the shadows, blocking their path. Ryan recognized the formation immediately: skilled attackers, likely mercenaries. Sela's voice was calm. "Observe, Ryan. Watch their movements. Do not act hastily." He studied their formation. Every ship moved in a pattern, predictable if observed carefully. Ryan adjusted the course slightly, weaving between asteroids and using the light from distant suns to hide their approach. The mercenaries noticed, firing briefly, but Sela's ship responded instantly. Energy shields flared as she directed small pulses that deflected attacks. "You anticipate well," she said, her voice calm but approving. "Few beings can read danger so quickly." Ryan felt pride, but he also knew the battle was far from over. He had learned from Sela that courage alone was not enough. Intelligence, careful observation, and acting at the right moment were what mattered. The mercenaries tried to surround them, but Ryan anticipated their moves. He calculated angles, thrust, and speed, dodging attacks while keeping the ship stable. Sela's subtle energy pulses helped redirect projectiles and weaken the attackers' engines without harming them unnecessarily. "You act with patience and precision," she said. That is wisdom. Most beings would panic. You do not. This is rare. Ryan realized that her words were more than praise. They were teaching. He understood now that being brave meant thinking clearly, acting calmly, and protecting life whenever possible. Finally, the fleet broke formation, unable to match their coordinated movements. Ryan guided the ship through a narrow canyon of asteroids, using the natural formations as cover. Sela adjusted shields to prevent damage from stray rocks. Together, they had outmaneuvered a far larger, more experienced group. Once safe, Ryan exhaled deeply. We did it, he said, amazed at their success. Sela's glowing eyes met his. We did it together. Your choices, your care, and your skill, they were crucial. Ryan smiled faintly, feeling a mixture of exhaustion and pride. He had never faced such danger before, and yet he had survived. And more than that, he had learned that courage and care could shape events far beyond what he had imagined. As they continued their journey, Sela spoke quietly. Ryan, you have shown me much. Your courage, your intelligence, your care, these are rare qualities. They remind me why small beings matter in the galaxy. You are one of them. Ryan shook his head. I am just a human. I do what I can. Sela's smile was faint but sincere. Even small acts can have great consequences. You have helped more than you know. You have saved lives, preserved peace, and protected others. That is power, Ryan. That is importance. Ryan felt a warmth in his chest. He had always thought humans were insignificant, powerless in a galaxy of advanced beings. Now he realized that courage, intelligence, and care were as powerful as any weapon or technology. The journey continued into uncharted regions, where distant stars flickered and the darkness of space felt alive. Ryan guided the ship carefully, using every skill he had learned. Sela observed, sometimes offering advice, sometimes simply watching. He felt a sense of connection, not only with her, but with the galaxy itself. Eventually, they approached a massive space station, larger than any Ryan had seen. Its structure was elegant, with towers and domes that seemed to float in space. Energy fields shimmered around it, and ships moved smoothly in and out of its docks. This station, Sela said, is a hub of knowledge and power. Many rulers of the galaxy pass through here. It is important for you to see. Ryan felt awe. The station was more complex than any colony, more alive than any place he had known. It is incredible, he said. How do people manage something so large? Sela smiled faintly. With order, cooperation, and understanding. Small beings like you may not see it, but even a single human's choice can influence events here. You are closer to power than you realize. Ryan realized that her words carried meaning beyond what he had understood. His small acts, helping her, protecting colonies, facing danger, they were not just isolated events. They were part of something larger, something that could shape the galaxy itself. As they prepared to dock, Ryan felt a mixture of excitement and fear. He had learned much, but he knew the greatest discoveries were still ahead. Sela placed a reassuring hand on his shoulder. Rest now, she said. Tomorrow, you will see why humans matter. Your heart, your courage, and your choices, they will be recognized in ways you cannot yet imagine. Ryan nodded, feeling a quiet determination. He understood that helping Sela had changed him forever. The galaxy was vast, dangerous, and full of mysteries, but he knew that together, they could face whatever came next. The massive station loomed ahead like a jewel in space, lights flickering and shimmering across its surface. Ryan felt awe, but also a strange nervousness. Sela remained calm, her glowing eyes focused on the docking controls. This is the heart of a galaxy, Sela said softly. Many rulers, many beings of great power, pass through here. It is important for you to see. Ryan guided the ship carefully, docking smoothly in a large bay filled with ships of every size and design. As the ramp lowered, Sela stepped out first, her presence commanding attention. Ryan followed, feeling small among the massive structures and bustling activity, yet somehow protected by her calm confidence. They walked through the corridors, quiet but alive with energy. Beings of every shape and color moved past, some curious, some indifferent. Sela's gaze was steady, but Ryan noticed something change. The attention of the crowd shifted subtly toward her. Whispers spread. Faces turned. Even the most powerful beings seemed to sense her presence. "Why are they looking at you like that?" Ryan asked quietly. Sela's expression was serene. "They know me, though not by name. They feel my power, my authority. Soon, you will understand why." They reached a large chamber filled with beings of immense size and presence. Each one radiated strength and intelligence. At the center, a platform rose, glowing with energy. Sela approached without hesitation, her confidence absolute. "Your Majesty," one of the beings said, bowing deeply. Sela turned to Ryan, her eyes calm but carrying weight he had never seen before. "They call me Queen," she said softly. "I rule this galaxy, and I travel quietly among others to observe and understand. You, Ryan, have helped me when I was vulnerable. Few beings would do that." Ryan froze. His mind struggled to process the revelation. The alien he had helped, the one who had trusted him, the one whose life and power he had saved, ruled an entire galaxy. He had never imagined such responsibility or influence could belong to anyone. You are the queen?" he asked, voice barely a whisper. Sela nodded. "Yes. But I am more than a ruler. I observe, guide, and protect. Many believe only strength matters. I know that choices, courage, and care shape worlds. That is why I came to your sector." Ryan felt a mix of fear and pride. He had acted without knowing who she was, without considering reward or recognition. Yet his actions had earned the respect of someone who could shape entire civilizations. "You saved me," she continued. "Not because you knew who I was, but because you acted with heart. That is why I trust you, Ryan. That is why your courage matters." Ryan felt warmth rise in his chest. He had always believed humans were small and powerless in the galaxy. Now he understood that courage, intelligence, and care could hold more value than strength or armies. The Queen gestured toward the chamber. "Come. I want you to see more, to understand how humans can shape more than their own lives. Your choices, small as they seem, have importance far beyond what you imagine." Ryan followed, stepping carefully through the chamber. The other beings looked at him with curiosity, respect, and in some cases, surprise. Few humans had ever been here. Few had ever acted as he had, with courage and care alone. Sela guided him to a large observation window. Beyond it, stars stretched endlessly, and fleets of ships moved with precision. Planets rotated silently in the distance. The Queen spoke softly. "Every action matters," she said. "Every choice ripples through space and time. You helped me when I was vulnerable, and in return, your courage shaped events that could affect millions. Humans, you are small, yet powerful in ways few understand." Ryan looked at the galaxy, feeling awe and humility. He realized that the quiet choices he had made repairing ships, helping colonies, facing pirates had mattered far more than he had imagined. Sela placed a hand lightly on his shoulder. "You are ready for more, Ryan. More discoveries, more choices, more ways to show courage and care. The galaxy is vast, and humans can leave a mark that no force can erase." Ryan nodded, feeling determination and pride. He understood now that his simple acts had meaning, that his courage had value, and that humans were capable of shaping worlds. Sela's trust and respect strengthened him. Will you travel with me further? She asked. There are regions of danger, of discovery, where your courage and heart will be tested. But together, we can face them. Ryan smiled, a steady confidence replacing his earlier uncertainty. Yes, I will. I want to see more, to help more, and to learn. I want to be worthy of your trust. Sela's glowing eyes reflected approval. You are already worthy, Ryan. Worthiness comes not from power, but from courage, care, and the choices you make. That is why humans matter. They walked back toward the docking bay. The chamber emptied behind them, but the lessons remained. Ryan felt changed, stronger, braver, and aware that his life would never be the same. The galaxy was no longer distant. It was alive, full of possibilities, and he had a role to play in its unfolding story. As they prepared to leave the station, the Queen paused. Remember this, Ryan. Power alone does not define importance. Courage, wisdom, and care do. You have shown that humans can influence events in ways that even the strongest beings cannot. Never forget your value. Ryan nodded, feeling the truth of her words. He had always thought humans were small, insignificant. Now he understood that even a single human, acting with courage and heart, could change the course of entire worlds. The ship lifted off, leaving the station behind. Stars stretched ahead, vast and infinite. Ryan felt excitement, pride, and a deep sense of purpose. He had survived danger, helped others, and earned the trust of the galaxy's most powerful ruler. Sela guided the ship through open space, her presence steady and strong. Tomorrow, she said, we will continue. There are more beings to help, more choices to make, and more ways to show what humans can do. You have already proven much, but the galaxy is vast, and your journey has only begun. Ryan felt a quiet determination. He understood that his courage, intelligence, and care would continue to shape events. He was small, but in his actions, he had power. And with Sela by his side, he knew that humanity could leave a mark on the galaxy that no one would forget. As the twin suns of a distant system glimmered ahead, Ryan looked at Sela. Thank you, he said quietly. For trusting me, for letting me help, for showing me what humans can really do. Sela smiled, her glow gentle and reassuring. No, Ryan. You showed me. You showed the galaxy. Courage and care matter, even in beings the universe considers small. Remember that, always. The ship moved forward into the unknown, carrying two unlikely companions. One was a human, small but courageous, with a heart full of care and determination. The other was the queen of a galaxy, powerful beyond measure, yet guided by understanding and trust. Together, they would face the stars, shape the future, and prove that even the smallest beings could change the course of worlds.